Alright, everybody, happy Canada Day. Or not. As I mentioned before, Canada is 100% going to shit. Thanks to our woke communist clown Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and his sidekick Chrystia Freeland. These two circus clowns have completely destroyed this country. And I mentioned before, my goal is to leave Canada. And I need to make something clear. I am pro-immigration, okay? I came to Canada as an immigrant nearly 20 years ago. But I'm opposed to this radical woke agenda, this cultural Marxism concept, because it's not even about immigration anymore, okay? These corrupt politicians, they want to completely destroy Canada. They want to completely destroy the United States and the collective West as a whole. These are the severe consequences of extreme wokeism. So for example, look at Canada's population right now. This is the first quarter estimate for 2024, okay? Canada is at over 41 million now, okay? So in the year of 2023, Canada's population increased by a record of 1.3 million, okay? If you're wondering how the hell that's possible, first of all, 1.3 million, that's the equivalent of the United States gaining 11 million, okay? 11 million people in a single year. No country in the world can handle this level of population increase, okay? How did we get here? Doesn't Canada have an extremely low birth rate? I mentioned before, right? It's only 1.33 children per woman, so the population should be going down. Well, the answer is very simple. Immigration. Radical Marxist level of immigration. So from 1991 to 2015 to the end of Stephen Harper's era. So for 24 years, Canada's immigration target each year was 250,000 immigrants per year. And even 250,000, you have to remember, Canada's population is very low. It's roughly the same as California, right? So even that number, it's the highest per capita in the world, okay? It puts so much stress on Canada's housing market, which is on the verge of collapsing right now. What happened in 2015? Justin Trudeau took power, okay? And his goal is to completely destroy this country. His goal is that I'm going to bring as many immigrants, I'm going to bring as many refugees, as many illegal aliens, as many migrants, and as many international students as possible. Because I will let you guys in so you guys will vote for me. As long as you guys keep voting for me and keep voting for the Liberal Party of Canada, I don't really give a shit about what happens in this country. As long as I can get my millions of dollars in retirement savings. So Justin Trudeau comes in, he says that, 250,000 immigrants, that's too low, okay? We gotta up this target. So the target for 2023 was 450,000 immigrants per year, okay? And this has been increased once again to 500,000 immigrants per year for 2024. But even that is a hoax. That's a deflated number. Because if you look at what happened in 2023, okay, the number of people gaining a permanent residence in Canada in the year of 2023 was roughly 750,000. 750,000. So that is 60% over the intended target, okay? And even the 750,000 doesn't add up. Didn't Canada's population increase by 1.3 million? So what the hell happened there? This is the part I'm really up against, okay? This is the part where I think Justin Trudeau must be absolutely destroyed. Like, he needs to be thrown into Guantanamo Bay. So the reason why Canada's population increased so much since Trudeau took power is because of the international students program, okay? So when Justin Trudeau took power in October of 2015, there was roughly 200,000 international students from all countries combined in Canada. Keep in mind, 200,000. Do you know in 2023, Canada reached a new milestone for a record number of international students coming to Canada to study? Do you know what's the number now? 1 million, okay? From 200,000 to 1 million international students in 1 year. And out of the 1 million, 330,000, 1 out of 3 are from India. Okay, that is a 100% fact. I'm not trying to be racist. This is Trudeau's agenda. And so where the hell are all these students going? I know this is because I went to Georgian College. Okay, this is 1 hour away from Toronto. Okay, from 2018 to 2020. I can guarantee you this. In 3 Canadian provinces. In Ontario, Canada is the most populous province. In the East Coast, in Nova Scotia, and in the West Coast, in British Columbia. Okay, I would say 60 to 80% of all the colleges in these 3 provinces are all Indian students now. So what they have is they have a bunch of fake programs set up. It's all 100% hoax, okay? It's a way for these Indian Canadians to run their shady business to make some extra cash on the side. And I can guarantee you Justin Trudeau and Jagmeet Singh, they're definitely getting a major kickback from this. So right now, out of the 1 million international international students in Canada, roughly 700,000 are going to Canadian colleges, okay? Roughly 300,000 are in universities. So what they're doing at these Canadian colleges is, for example, they have a fake program. They'll say, oh, come to Canada to study for 2 years. For example, 2 years for personal grocery shopping, or 2 years for hairstyling, or a 2-year study on how to help the disabled in our society. All kinds of programs like that. And these programs do not exist. Oftentimes, you just see some shady ad on Kijiji or some Indian website, or you can literally go to a shopping center. There's some shady number on a phone. You can call this number. They can tell you that, oh, how to get into this Canadian college, okay, as an Indian student. These students are 100% aware of this. And they know they're not coming to Canada to study. Okay, the reason why they sign up for these programs, why would they pay $5,000 or $10,000 in tuition, is so that they can get a green card. So when they come to Canada, okay, they don't go to any classes. They don't go to any of the schools, okay? So what they do is that they will find a job immediately. That's why so many grocery stores, for example, Loblaws, the largest grocery store chain in Canada, and also Walmart, they won't say this, but I can guarantee you this is what they're doing. That's why Walmart and Loblaws has so many Indian workers now. They refuse to hire anybody else. All of their spots are reserved for these fake international students that's coming in from India. There's a bunch of these companies in Canada that's specifically only hiring people that's fresh out of the boat, that just landed from New Delhi. And once they come in, once they start to earn an income at these places, the people who do work under the table, okay, these Indian people, they will start their immigration process for them to get a permanent residence in Canada. And this has been happening in Canada ever since 2015, ever since Justin Trudeau took office. That's why the number of international students went from 200,000 to 1 million, okay? And everybody is aware of this, but it's unbelievable that Justin Trudeau can just walk away 100% free for what he's doing with these basically neocons, okay? You know what we need to do with these neocons? We need to cut their balls off and give them a brand new neo-vagina. That's what these neocons need. For example, if you look at Conestoga College, it's quickly becoming one of the richest colleges in Canada right now. Conestoga College is located in Kitchener, Ontario. It's 1 hour south of Toronto. Last year, they made a record profit of $150 million in tuition. Where the hell do you think they got that kind of money? The reason why I'm so against this and the reason why I'm leaving Canada is because I can tell you this. Let's look at another college, okay? Let's look at, for example, Loyalist College, okay? So their student enrollment went up by 4,500%. 4,500% in a matter of 5 years, okay? Loyalist College is located in a small town called Belleville. It's roughly 1 hour north of Toronto. The town has maybe, 80,000 people? And all of a sudden, they added 5,000 additional students from India. Okay, now obviously these are not students. What do you think that does to the housing market? When you have a town of 75,000 people, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, you add extra 5,000 people. That means Canada's 100% full. You can go to a Statistics Canada, look up Canada's housing crisis and Canada's housing report. Why do you think rent is so expensive? Why do you think nobody can afford to buy a home? Because there are no homes available in Canada. Right now, Canada's housing vacancy rate is at 1.5%. 1.5%. Do you know what that means? That means that 98.5% of homes in Canada are fully occupied right now. Okay, Canada has no more space. And if you're wondering, Canada is such a huge country, how can there not be any spaces? Well, Canada has spaces, but Canada is not building any homes. So right now, Canada is building less homes versus the 1970s. That's when home constructions in Canada peaked, right? Justin Trudeau has completely given up on the housing crisis in Canada. He doesn't give a shit, okay? Back in 1970, Canada had roughly 18 million people. But back then, Canada was building more homes versus Canada today in 2024. But Canada has 41 million people now. And every single home, every single condo, every single apartment is occupied. That's why rent and mortgage are so expensive, because value comes from scarcity, right? For example, if you have a country where, let's say, 70 to 80% of the home are vacant, that means the rent and mortgage are going to be extremely cheap. That means you can buy a house for 50,000, 100,000. And that's why the property market is completely crashing in Canada. Look at the housing prices, okay? This is in the United States right now in 2023. The average price of a home is $346,000 US. Do you know what's the price right now in Canada in 2023? $487,000 US dollars. US dollars. By the way, in the US, on average, the wages are roughly 20% higher versus Canadian wages. We're 100% screwed. Algoma University, they just recently opened up another campus in Brampton, okay? And we all know Brampton, that's one of the Indian capitals of Canada. It's all 100% fake. This is all adding to the university's tuition and enrollment scam to attract more international students from India. You'll see that 95% of students there, they're all international students fresh out of the boat from India. So many of these students who are fresh off the boat, they don't even have anywhere to live because the entire city is full, okay? They're welcoming way too many people at the same time. And so what do these people do? They all share houses. You can look this up on the news. In one of the homes in Brampton, they found 25 male international students living in one basement in a Brampton home. 25 international students, okay? That's just in the basement. Imagine what's going on upstairs, okay? So this is the housing situation in Canada. This is why everything has gotten so expensive. It is all because of our communist Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's socialist and Marxist policies. And in the previous video, I discussed the severe consequences of white people and Asians who are having fewer and fewer children. But what are these people supposed to do in 2024? For example, I live in the capital. Actually, I live within walking distance from Justin Trudeau's office. So right now, if you look at the online listings, okay, a one-bedroom apartment in Ottawa, okay, the cheapest one-bedroom you can find is $2,000 Canadian. That is roughly $1,500 US dollars, and that is not including anything. If you want the internet, you gotta pay that extra on your own. If you need a parking space for your car, you gotta pay for parking. Obviously, you're gonna need running water. You're gonna have to pay that. Obviously, you will also need hydro. When everything's included, you're looking at a minimum of anywhere between $2,200 to $2,300. I don't think people have realized how much Trudeau has destroyed Canada. I mentioned before I went back to school, so I've been back to college for 2 years, and I'm about to graduate university. So it's been 6 years now. I'm forced to take on a lot of debt, unfortunately. But before I went back to school, I was working at a factory. I actually had a savings of over $8,000, even though I wasn't making very much money at the factory. But I tell people, do you know how I was able to do that, right? So I rented a bachelor's apartment from 2017 to 2018, okay? Very, very small place, less than 200 square feet, but it was enough for me to be living by myself. I was paying $690 a month Canadian. That was literally 6 years ago, okay? That's roughly $500 US, okay? I went back online to check the listing, okay? And I didn't live in Ottawa back then, so this was a small town. If you don't believe me, okay, I can even give you the address. The place I used to live at 7 to 8 years ago was called 25 Capelli Circle. I lived in apartment 503. Okay, it was a bachelor's apartment. The exact same apartment 6 years ago for $690 Canadian, okay? Now it's being listed for $1,600 a month. $690 to $1,600 a month. This is what Justin Trudeau has done to Canada under his 9 years of dictatorship. And how the hell can you guys keep voting for this guy? This completely blows my mind. I have never, ever voted for the Liberal Party of Canada because I know he's extremely sketchy. This guy's a high school drama teacher. I knew he was going to run this country to the ground. But 3 elections now, people keep voting for this guy. Are you guys absolutely out of your mind? I honestly think that he's a worse politician than Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. And this is the real reason why I'm leaving Canada. Because, once again, like I said, Canada has extremely low birth rate. It has issues. It does need immigrants. But you cannot have this level of radical immigration. 1.3 million people in a year, going from 200,000 international students to 1 million international students in 8 years. You have a record housing crisis. How can you have a college that's making $150 million in tuition in 1 year? How can you have another college in Canada that's adding a population of 5,000 to a small town of 75,000 people? So now that nobody can find a job, so that nobody has anywhere to live. Okay, this is the state of Canada, and it runs much, much deeper than this, okay? I know I've ranted down for a long time, but I will come back to this topic, and there's so much more I want to discuss in my election 2024 special. And the first thing we must do as a society is to completely destroy the Liberal Party of Canada and also the Democratic Party of the United States.